What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with my hands-on and first impressions video of the Samsung Galaxy A21. So let's get started. So this is the new Samsung Galaxy A21. Now, I know that a few weeks ago, I did make a video about the A21s, and it's kind of strange that they did launch both devices at around the same time, but the A21 is a different phone from the A21s, and I actually bought this device over at Metro by T-Mobile. Now, I'd imagine that throughout this year, the phone will make its way over to more and more carriers, and I'm sure it's also going to be offered factory unlocked. But it looks like the price of the device is going to be around $250. Now definitely take a look at the link in the video description to see the most up-to-date pricing for the phone. But here's the box that it does come in. You can see A21 right there. I did already set up the phone for the sake of saving time, but we'll put it off to the side for a second as we see what else we get in the box. So we'll open up this packet here and see what all we get inside. And what's interesting is that this literature is actually for both the A11 and A21. So that is interesting. We have a 10-watt adaptive fast charger. We have a SIM card removal tool and a USB-C cable for charging and data transfer. So we get all the essentials that we need included here in the box. And here is the actual Samsung Galaxy A21 itself. Now, the device features a very large display at 6.5 inches. The display on here is IPS LCD at 720p. Now, it is a little bit of a downgrade in some ways from the A20 because the A20 featured an AMOLED display. And I will be comparing this phone to that phone in a separate video, so it's coming very soon. But despite this being IPS LCD, it still does look really nice. I do have the brightness on 100% right now. And overall, I do think it looks decent. Now we're getting a PPI of 270. We're getting a 20:9 aspect ratio, so very narrow but tall form factor here with the phone. And we're getting a 79.3% screen to body ratio. Now, one of the new things with this device is that we are getting a hole punch for the front facing camera, and that is situated off to the top left of the phone. And the front facing camera on here is 13 megapixels. Now at the bottom of the device, we have a little bit of a thicker bottom bezel, but overall, I think it's a very nice looking phone. Now this variant of the Galaxy A21 has 32 gigabytes of internal storage with microSD card expansion. So it is a bit disappointing that they didn't give us 64 gigs, especially since the LG Stylo 6 has 64 gigs. So I definitely recommend getting a microSD card for the phone when you actually end up getting it. Now there's no wireless charging with the device, but we do have a fingerprint sensor on the back of the phone, and it's a very fast and responsive fingerprint sensor, so that's great. We're also getting facial recognition with the phone, so that's yet another method to unlock it. Now also on the back side of the device, we have a quad camera setup. So this is another new thing with the phone that we're getting a lot of different cameras. So we're getting a 16 megapixel main camera, an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, a 2 megapixel depth sensing camera for portrait mode, and we're getting a 2 megapixel macro camera. Now here's how things look through the camera app. So this is the front facing camera, of course. We can also switch over to a wider field of view here. And then there's also live focus for the front facing camera. So you can take portrait mode photos with the phone, which is great. Let's now flip around to the rear camera. And here's how things look with that main 16 megapixel camera. We can then also switch over to the ultra wide, and then you can see after doing that, I can fit a lot more content here into the frame. And then we can go over to the More tab to switch over to the macro camera, and then we can take really awesome close-up pictures. So that's definitely a really cool thing there to see. Now internally, we're getting 3 gigabytes of RAM, and we're getting the MediaTek Helio P35 processor. So it is interesting that we are getting a MediaTek processor here with the phone. And I did run a benchmark test with the device, and I'll show you the score right now. But I got an overall score of, wait for it, 104,432. Now I don't remember off the top of my head what the score was that I got with the A20 because it's been a little while. But when I do the side-by-side comparison of those two phones, we can also compare the benchmark scores. But this score isn't too bad. There's a lot of other features that I like about this phone that I think will make it a better sell. But the good news though is that Samsung's user interface here, One UI 2.0, is very well optimized, and in general, performance is very solid with the phone. So I am satisfied so far with the user experience, but of course, I'm gonna have to use the device a bit longer to really know for sure. Now the phone also features a 4000 milliamp hour internal battery, so a pretty beefy battery there, which is great. And then another awesome thing too, and I don't know if that's just because this is the Metro by T-Mobile variant of the device, so definitely double check before you actually end up ordering the phone if you don't get it from Metro, but the device does have NFC, so I'm really happy to see that. But now that we've gone over the specifications of the Samsung Galaxy A21, let's take a closer look at the hardware. So I already talked a lot about the front panel here, and overall, I am happy with the display quality. In some ways, you could argue it is a downgrade from the A20 from last year, but at the same time, I do like that it is a larger display, and I also like that we're getting the front-facing camera as a hole punch instead of a notch. Now, taking a look at the left side of the phone, we have the slot for the microSD card and SIM card. Then on the right side, we have the power button and volume buttons. Another interesting thing too is that the phone is all plastic besides the display, but we have like a matte finish for the band running around the sides of the phone, whereas the back is glossy. So that's an interesting design characteristic. That's definitely a new thing compared to the A20. And in general, I think the phone looks nice. I'd imagine that most people will want to put a case on the phone anyway to further protect it, especially since you are more susceptible to getting scratches on the phone since it is plastic. So once you put a case on the phone, the materials don't really matter as much because all you're going to be feeling anyway is the actual case. And then on the top of the phone, we have the noise canceling microphone. And then on the bottom, we have the speaker, we have the USB-C port for charging and data transfer, we have the microphone, and the 3.5mm headphone jack. And then on the back of the phone, we have the camera module, flash, and the fingerprint sensor. And we have a nice piano black finish here on the rear of the phone. It certainly is a fingerprint magnet, but I still think it does look nice. Now what's interesting about the A21 is that unlike many of the other phones that have come out this year, including many of the A-series phones, this device does not have a rectangular camera module. Instead, we have it in this bean pod format where we just have the cameras all stacked on top of each other. So I'm fine with that. I'm not one of those people that really cares about the way that the camera module works. As long as the pictures look good, that's all that matters to me. And I'm certainly looking forward to going outside a little bit later and taking some test photos and videos. But I hope you enjoyed my hands-on and first impressions video about the Samsung Galaxy A21. In general, I think it's a very nice phone. I'm looking forward to spending a lot more time with it. And there are so many other devices as well in the A series that you certainly have a lot of choices. For example, if you're not too happy that we're getting an AMOLED display with the A21, then all you have to do is get the A31, and that does have AMOLED. It's a little bit more expensive, but you do get that. So what my point is that if there's something about the A21 that you don't like, you should definitely look at the other A-series phones. You might have to spend a little bit more, but look at the other A-series phones because they might offer everything that you need, and the price increase might not be by too much. But in general, I'm very excited about the device, definitely looking forward to making a lot of other videos about it. Going to be comparing this to the A20, of course, but also the LG Stylo 6, LG K51, Samsung Galaxy A51, the list goes on. I have a lot of plans with this device, and I'm certainly very excited. And I'm definitely going to be very busy all throughout the summer making content about this phone. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Definitely give it a thumbs up if you did. Take a look at the link in the video description. It's the most up-to-date pricing for the device. But this is Kevin here. This is the Samsung Galaxy A21, and I will see you in the next video.